you know that feeling after you do a scene and you're driving home and you're going, God damn it, why didn't I do that? It was such a good idea. Oh. And maybe it wasn't a good idea, but in the moment you're freaking out and you're like, God damn it, the whole thing is ruined. It's ruined. It's that. It's kind of that I'm always sort of combating. I'm like, if I can stay focused and stay in it and keep thinking about it, maybe I'll keep coming up with things that I can try and do. And then at the end of the day, when I'm driving home, I'll go, all right, I might have missed something, but I sure as hell tried my best is to do everything that I thought I could do.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name's Janelle Riley. I'm the Deputy Awards and Features Editor at Variety. Thank you so much for coming to this SAG-AFTRA Foundation conversation with the acclaimed Netflix series Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story. That was all one sentence. I need a moment. Okay, sorry, I ran up here and a little out of breath. Today's guest, he's simply one of the best actors working today. He's, of course, an Emmy Award winner for his role on Mayor of Easttown. For his performance in Dahmer, he's already been nominated for so many awards. They're making new ones up, but they include a SAG Award nomination and wins from Golden Globes, the Satellite Awards, and a Critics' Choice Award. I am so thrilled to welcome Evan Peters.
Hi. Hi.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on another fantastic performance. This is an audience of your fellow SAG-AFTRA actors.
Hi.
I usually like to start by asking, how did you get your SAG card? But I actually know the answer because I asked you this a year ago, and I never remember, but I remember your story.
Go for it.
Yes. I'm just going to do all the talking. It was a PlayStation commercial.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I also remember this because you also said you did a Sour Patch Kids commercial.
Uh-huh.
And I had never tried Sour Patch Kids.
Really?
I hadn't, never, because I don't like
wow.
gummy things. And I told you that day that I was going to try Sour Patch Kids that day.
What did you think?
I didn't like them. I'm sorry.
You didn't like them?
Like them. But they got me hooked on sour gummy worms, weirdly, because I thought I didn't like gummy things. I know. And now I eat them constantly. I have some in my pocket right now. I'm not even kidding.
Are you for real?
I really do, yeah. I carry them everywhere. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It worked.
So it was a gateway. The
Yeah.
Sour Patch Kids were a gateway.
The commercial worked.
But you started so young. I'm curious, how did you know this was a career for you, or did you just think you were having fun?
Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was so young. I was 15 years old. I didn't really know what I was doing. I still don't. And I think I was just, I love movies. I love TV. I like to get sucked into the worlds and watch it. And I think I really just wanted to be inside of the movie and go see what that was like and see if I could do that. So, yeah, it was, I mean, I was so young, I didn't know what I was doing. So it was just really playing around at that point. But yeah, always loved movies and TV.
Were there certain movies or even actors that like you saw and you kind of wanted to emulate?
Oh, yeah. Tom Hanks.
Oh,
Tom Hanks. Forrest Gump, I think, was the one I wanted to be inside of the most. The movie. The movie. I gotta go. That's it. Chris Farley was amazing. I absolutely love Chris Farley. And
kind of an underrated actor, as weird as that
kidding me?
sounds. He
Amazing.
was a beautiful performer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very honest, very real, always incredibly emotional. Yeah.
Truly, like he was heartbreaking in some of these
really
things.
Heartbreaking. Yeah, he was amazing. So I really looked up to those guys a lot in those years.
Forrest Gump and Tommy Boy were the big influences.
Huge, massive. Yeah, Jim Carrey as well. I always loved Jim Carrey. I thought, yeah, there we go. Applause for Jim. I love them.
But you didn't grow up in Los Angeles. How did you know, to get from wherever you were to start a career at the age of 15?
Oh man, that's a good question. I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, my dad got a job in Michigan, and then I got really the there was the Flint Youth Theater, which I was doing there over the summer, and then there was a local modeling and talent agency called Avante Models. I don't know if it's around anymore, but there was a photographer there who knew a manager out here in LA, and I was in an acting class there at that agency with Bill Schwerin, called Bill the Acting Guy. Loved him and loved that class, and so I did a little self-tape of a monologue and sent it to the manager out here, and he said, "Do you want to come out and audition?" And I said, "Mom, please." And she said, "Yeah, okay, we can give it a shot. We'll take it a year at a time, see how you do, see if you like it." I mean, I was so young, we didn't know if I would still be into it, so yeah, I was just kind of taking it 1 year at a time.
Do you remember what monologue you did? Because I'm always fascinated by people's monologue choices.
It was from some teen book, some teen monologue book.
I didn't know this was a thing.
It was this kid getting really upset about his gym teacher ordering him around, and he's like, "Mister, get to the top of the gym and climb that rope," and he's like just bitching about it to I don't know who. I mean, you're supposed to decide. That's kind of the acting thing, but I didn't really do that at that point. So, yeah, but that was it. That was the monologue.
I think I saw the after-school special this is from. This is
Really?
ringing a bell. Yeah. I mean, it could be several things, but...
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So obviously, you keep saying you didn't know what you were doing, but obviously things worked out pretty well. And here you are today with another fantastic performance in Dahmer, which marks... I've lost track of how many times you've collaborated with Ryan Murphy. And it's such an amazing partnership. What is it like to have a creative like that who believes in you so much, maybe at times when even you didn't believe in yourself?
Well, I mean, he's changed my life. I feel like he has given me everything, honestly, and continues to give me opportunity after opportunity. And I really can't express how grateful I am that he still talks to me, quite honestly. Usually it's kind of like, here's a job, and then you don't see anybody ever again. So it's kind of interesting and amazing, really, that he's become such a great friend, and I hesitate to call him boss. It's really more of a creative collaborator who has an immense amount of power. Yeah.
We have a question from Amanda Willis, and I don't know the answer to this, which is strange, but the question is, how did you meet Ryan Murphy? I've actually never heard this story.
Well, I met him in the studio test for American Horror Story.
Wow.
He was very coolly dressed in like amazing chic sweatpants and some kind of awesome blazer thing and a beanie. And everybody else was in a suit. And so he looked really cool. And I was like, who's that cool guy? Because I didn't know what Ryan Murphy looked like, and I didn't know who he was. And so he said, "Hi, I'm Ryan, and just go for it." And I was like, okay, cool. And then just did it. And that was kind of it. And then we really didn't speak until being on set. And he directed the pilot, and he is one of the best directors I've ever worked with. He's so creative in the moment and so collaborative. And I remember specifically this one moment that always stuck with me. The character Tate is in a therapy session, and he looks over, and none of this was scripted, but Ryan said, "I want you to look over in the corner and see yourself. And what we're going to do is we're going to cover you in blood. And then we're going to quickly pop to that, and then we're going to come back to you." And I was like, okay, that sounds really intense and really like it'll work really well in this scene. And so, yeah, we went for it. And it's just kind of things like that where just the spur of the moment, he'll have an idea that really is visually stunning and really works incredibly well with the I remember working with him one time in Pose, and he directed the pilot of Pose, and he another instance where he my character is in the mirror sort of getting ready to go see his date who is in bed, and he's very self-conscious and he doesn't know what to do, and he's sort of nervous and kind of fixing his hair, and Ryan goes, okay, take the robe and like just open it up and like try to show your chest a little bit, and then be like, you see your nipples and your no chest hair, and you're just like, no, I can't do this, and then you just like cover it up very quickly. And it was just such a weird, awkward thing for the character to do, and we tried it, and yeah, it was just a very weird, creative decision in the moment.
He comes up with these on the set,
yeah,
and like,
yeah, it's just, that's what I mean. It's just he just has such a great passion for creativity and exploration in the moment, and I think that's what I was trying to communicate.
Well, and also you must trust him to know that, like, if it doesn't work, he's not going to use it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And he didn't use that because it didn't work.
I was actually trying to remember. I was like,
nope,
I don't
didn't
remember.
work. Yeah,
Okay.
it didn't work. It was too weird. It's too weird.
So I love that you have this great collaboration. But what is it like when he comes to you and says, I want you to play one of the most prolific serial killers of all time? Are you flattered, or are you? I mean, it's a compliment, really, that he really thinks you can do anything.
I mean, yeah, I think it is. I think he has a little more faith in me than I deserve. He approached me with that. He sent me the scripts, and what was the question?
Oh, it's like, what's it like when he comes to you and says, like, I want you to play, I see you playing this role. I mean, it's a compliment, but also it's probably intimidating.
Yeah, it was terrifying. I had a lot of hesitations and reservations about playing this part. But the scripts were brilliantly written, careful to show many different perspectives. He told me to watch the Stone Phillips Dateline interview, which I very quickly got the sense that he was confused about what he did, and really didn't even know why he wanted to do it. So I was intrigued and wanted to explore the psychology of him and why he did what he did. But ultimately, the story is much bigger than just Jeffrey Dahmer, so I felt compelled and pulled in to do it.
I mean, this is really also a story about how the system failed.
Yeah.
So many people, and that was something that I don't think I was aware of. I think we all feel like we sort of know Jeffrey Dahmer or know the story. I learned so much from this. I'm curious if that was your experience too, where you were kind of shocked by things you read.
Oh yeah, well, I didn't know anything about this case. I didn't know anything about Jeffrey Dahmer or the repercussions or the systemic failures. I had no idea. So it was a really jaw-dropping and constantly in stunned disbelief at what I was reading and learning about. So yeah, it was all new to me.
I mean, I know that this has to be true, like with the scene where the cop pulls him over and he's, got people in his back seat in trash bags, and the guy lets him go. Like that is so amusing, absurd in the sense of like unbelievable, that it has to be real. Yeah,
I mean, it is. They let him off. He was drug driving, and they let him off. So it's shocking and unbelievable, and probably could have stopped it then.
In all your research, even if there wasn't something that we saw overtly on screen, was there something you picked up or a moment that really informed your performance, or that you kind of went back to again and again? Maybe something that surprised you. Like I said, I was surprised constantly by this story. So,
I think it was always sort of. Again, it was listening to him speak about it. He was very disassociated from it, and almost as if he didn't do it, or very confused about it. I think the way that he spoke about it being a long slide down, this just sort of spoke to the deterioration of how it started when he was 17 and just got worse and worse and worse until he's a complete alcoholic and totally succumbed to the compulsion and completely lost himself. So it was helpful to hear that. So then I knew that at different ages, we would be mapping out sort of and trying to be very specific about where he was at mentally and physically at that time, with the compulsion, with the alcoholism, and huge credit to our makeup, hair, wardrobe department for helping to craft the different looks for the different time periods, because that was instrumental in trying to be in the correct time period during the chaos of shooting. But it was everybody did an amazing job at telling that story of the deterioration, and it was really a collaborative effort, and was, yeah.
I wanted to talk about those artisans because you can do so much work as an actor and prepare and, and get in the mindset. And then you show up on set and someone puts you in this hair and makeup or puts you on one of these sets that feels so authentic. And how much does that help you as an actor just really lock in that day?
Oh, it's everything. I mean, it really is. Like I said in the beginning, it was wanting to immerse yourself in a different world, a different reality. And I think that when you have amazing set deck like we had on this, and amazing DP with the lighting, and our prop department, which everything was just very well thought out, and of course mixed with the hair, makeup, and wardrobe, you really can get into it. And I think that it was very helpful for all of the cast to sort of make sure everything was very grounded and respectful. And I think it plays a huge part in all of it, because the truth is that one of the things I didn't realize when I was 15 is that you go to a set and you're not really in the movie. It's there's a camera there, there's 100 other people there. It's very intense, and it's hard and very easy to get distracted. So it's amazing when you have people who can create the world where you can latch on to that and sort of go, this is something real I can hang on to, and put up the fourth wall, or ignore the camera, or whatever you got to do. But that stuff is so helpful.
Were the glasses the final step, because they're so signature? The thing is that there's a billboard on Sunset that literally is outside my balcony, so I've seen your face a lot.
Wow.
I'm
sorry.
It's actually it's become kind of funny, actually, because you sort of start to get used to it after a while. But like I study it and I just look at those glasses and I think like that. I wonder if that was like the last thing you put on, because it just says so much.
That was really a challenge. Those are the first things I put on. I put those on before we even started shooting, because I didn't want to feel like with the glasses on your face, it's so distracting. So I wanted all that to be second nature. But I remember distinctly working with our props department, which was amazing. But we tried on a lot of different glasses, and different ones for different time periods as well. But ultimately, it was a case of sort of really searching for that style and that frame, and bringing in a professional to sort of find them and look for them. It's they're very distinct type of glasses.
Yeah, because you don't see those anymore.
No,
like they used. I remember. I'm older than you, and I remember seeing them around a lot during that era.
Yeah.
But you can't find them now.
No.
Wow,
No.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
We do follow Jeffrey through several decades, and over this long span of time, I'm curious about the challenges of playing those different times, not just emotionally, but logistically, because knowing how limited series or movies work, one day would you film a scene set in 1991 and 1977? No way.
Yeah, that was part of the challenge. I knew it was going to get chaotic like that. So that was, again, a massive credit to our hair and makeup and wardrobe department, and especially Shay and Gigi, our makeup and hair, because I think at one point, we went back and forth. The military haircut is a wig, unbelievably. Maybe you could tell, I don't know, but I couldn't. And it really, having to go back and forth on that in the same day is a real challenge and a time-consuming one. And Shay was incredible at doing that. So yeah, it was tough. It was, but it was part of the challenge, I think, and we kind of all knew that going into it. So that's again why being very specific about what those things were that he was going through at that time, using music to sort of get into that frame of mind or that time period, looking at what you were wearing or your hair in that time period and sort of working on changing yourself a little bit as much as I could without it being too weird, to try to really sell the different ages and to tell the series.
Did you have like a playlist for the decade or something that you would listen to get you in the space?
Sort
of. Cool.
Yeah.
Some of these songs are probably before you were even born, so I'm imagining. I'm trying to imagine what they were in the 80s. There's some great songs back then, and also some terrible, terrible songs that were big hits.
Well, "Please Don't Go" was one that was throughout the series, and that was a big one to listen to help get into that time period.
Kind of I want to get like really granular and nerdy about this. Like,
cool.
How do you keep track? Do you have like a notebook where you mark up the pages? I'm so fascinated by that. I'm fascinated by people who can act because I've tried it and I'm bad. And so like the fact that you can do it, you're good, and you can, jump through all these different time periods. I literally don't know how you do it.
I don't either.
We'll make something up because there's an audience here.
Oh, sorry. Just kidding. I think my script is always so fucked up. It is like destroyed in notes and coffee and all sorts of food, and it's disgusting. I actually learned I need to put on one of those little binder covers or report covers, which is very, very helpful, by the way. But yeah, I mark the hell out of it. I have to. I get these ideas. I got to write them down. I circle. I scrape. It's a big old mess. I actually probably should organize it a little better because maybe I'm losing some ideas within the chaos of it all. But I do that. I write. I kind of. It's not special. It's just really journaling. To sort of figure out what I'm going through that day and kind of how I, what I need to do in order to sort of match what's called for the day. So that's pretty helpful to sort of check in. And timelines. I think timelines are incredibly important, especially on this one. There was so much, that at any given time period, I'd sort of have to go, okay, well, what has happened? What do I know? What am I aware of? Sort of what is everybody around me aware of? And it was constantly changing. So it was very, very helpful to have that. And we had amazing script supervisors that were so instrumental in making this thing work. Because again, you're doing triple up days, and you're like, what the hell time period am I in? What just happened? So it was a little chaotic, but I think when you have those kinds of tools, you can do it.
What were the most time periods you did in a day? Like 2 or maybe even 3?
Yeah, I think so. I think 2 or 3. You're kind of bouncing back and forth between episodes, and the episodes are also bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, that's also crazy.
Yeah, so I think that was sort of the challenge. It was sort of a double bounce around.
I saw your co-star Niecy Nash earlier this week, and she says you were lovely and that she, really liked getting to meet you after the show was shooting. Yeah, she's talked about this a lot, I know. I completely understand why people stay in character or stay in a space when they're shooting. I don't think it's actually healthy to take yourself out and then jump back in. Is that something you have to do in every role, or and again, I don't want to imply that you're staying in character, but you're keeping a certain mindset probably.
I think that's a good way to put it. I think it is a mindset. I think it for me, I I think it's just impossible to interact with a crew and accomplish a scene or rehearse it or talk to other actors in the character. I think you're sort of staying in the mindset, I think, can be very helpful, and staying in your zone and not getting distracted. I think it's very easy to do that, and then you forget your lines or where you needed to be, or you miss an idea that would have come to you. So yeah, I think it's really important. And Niecy, I love Niecy. I love Niecy so much, and I wanted to hang out with her and talk to her so bad and just have a good time and laugh. But I was so nervous because I knew that, all of our scenes are in contention. So I was like, if I start being really friendly, and of course I was cordial and good morning, how are you? And we would rehearse and whatever, but then I'd go off and, doing my thing. And it was, so it was tough, but I'm glad to have. Now I know Niecy, and we can hang out and we can laugh.
Well, she's so funny.
She's so
funny. I would want to keep her at a distance too if I was about to do a dramatic scene, because I'd be giggling.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Although she gives a phenomenal performance.
Oh my God.
This.
I truly believe if you can do comedy, you can do anything.
Yeah. They say it is harder. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, because I think people, on the outside can hear things like, I remember an actor talking about how he went into auditions in character, and people were, kind of scoffed at that, and he's like, look, it was for a serial killer, he's like, I'm about to walk in there, I don't want to say, hey, how's it going, how are your kids, and slip into this, I go in a mindset, and then when I'm done, and the work is done, I'm happy to talk.
Sure.
But it's just, on the surface, sometimes it can sound like, people don't understand what this alchemy is.
Yeah, I think it's different too for every role.
Yeah.
I think the challenges are different, and I think, if there's a certain necessary camaraderie or bounce back and forth or improvisation between actors, I think that it's a good thing to sort of talk and hang out and get to know each other. I think that each scene and each character sort of is different. I've always sort of, it got worse over the years. I didn't used to, I feel like at an audition one time I was very intense about what I was trying to do. It was a very intense scene, and so I was trying to really get into it. But I think over the years I've just sort of got more and more, I really, that feeling after you do a scene and you're driving home and you're going, God damn it, why didn't I do that? It was such a good idea. And maybe it wasn't a good idea, but in the moment you're freaking out and you're like, God damn it, the whole thing is ruined. It's ruined. It's that. It's kind of that I'm always sort of combating. I'm like, if I can stay focused and stay in it and keep thinking about it, maybe I'll keep coming up with things that I can try and do, and then at the end of the day when I'm driving home, I'll go, all right, I might have missed something, but I sure as hell tried my best to do everything that I thought I could do. And that to me is why I try to stay in it, I think.
Do you have a ritual of letting go of a role when you're done? I always go to Hawaii when I've had
really?
I
that's
do.
awesome.
Well, yeah, my family's there, so it's not
cool.
the vacation. It sounds like.
Bummer.
But when I finish a big work season, that's and I reset. I don't know if you have anything specific like that.
I go home to St. Louis and see my family. That was pretty important on this one. See friends, decompress. I think for this role in this series, I absorbed as much information as I could about it and tried to stay in it and sort of stay in that mindset. So I think immediately when it was done, I was like, let's watch Step Brothers. Let's
I love that movie.
let's listen to some 80s pop music. You just change the channel and then you can start bringing in that kind of energy and that information, and that somehow starts to change you and you start to lighten up a little bit. So that's kind of the process on that.
I love that you love Step Brothers. That was my Halloween costume a couple of years ago. Yeah, me and my friend, yeah.
Which character?
Because my last name's Riley. I was John C. Riley, and her last name is Farrell.
Amazing.
So
wow.
yeah, I know, right?
That's perfect.
And I still have the sweater and the wig, and
Wow.
yeah, no, it was fantastic. I would love to see you in a movie like Step Brothers.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Can we make that happen? Can we will that into existence?
Please, let's do that. Please. Let's call up Jenkins.
That's right. Richard Jenkins can play your dad again. Can I ask what's next? Do you know at this point, or?
Something lighter.
Okay. That could be anything, though. That could be Oppenheimer.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yeah, I don't know. Something lighter, I think. I think sort of, getting out of the darker worlds a little bit would be nice.
Well, I cannot wait to see what it is. Before we go, I want to ask if everyone can stay seated because he actually has to be somewhere else. And also remind everyone, in case you didn't already know, all the episodes of this are on Netflix, so you can watch it again. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.